All right, guys, Cords and Core workout time. We're going to be mindfully executing every single stroke here. We're going to visualize ourselves being in the water. Can everybody hear me okay? Got it. Okay, thanks. All right, so remember, we have our effort 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, and fast. So 60% is really easy. Slow it way down. Think about how you're moving. Then we carry that mindfulness as we increase intensity, which will increase intensity throughout the workout. So we're going to take our time, slowly build that intensity. We do it correctly here without the dynamic environment of the water, and then we go to the water and we apply everything we're working on here. We're going to work on technique, and then in addition to that technique comes some resiliency work because of all the cords we're going to do. But because all the stress we're putting on the system, we got to engage the correct muscles. So as we've been setting the tone in the previous 3 weeks of Cords and Core session, we're going to do the same thing here. So we got to protect our traps, guys. Same thing in the pool. If our shoulders are hiked up too high, if we're shrugging those traps as we swim, it's gonna be too much stress on the traps. You're gonna get neck pain, trap pain, and you're gonna take the stress off the lats where it should be and put it onto those traps. So we want to remember, traps down, upper back engaged. So everybody raise your hands like we've been doing every week in that Y position. This is our starting position, the Y. Stress, let's reach up with your traps and then bring it down your back. Bring your scapula down your back, and this is the position you want to swim in. You do not want to swim in the trapped, extended, trapped, engaged position. Bring it down. So as we're doing the stretch cords, keep reminding yourself, scapula down as we complete our cords. All right, scapula down. One other thing we're going to work on this session is accelerating through our stroke. So we have the setup, externally rotate the elbow, wrist firm, fingertips down. Once we get in that setup and we start to apply pressure from front to back, I want to accelerate from front to back. So I'll keep reminding you, accelerate through. I just find that when I see you guys on the pool deck, a lot of you are getting that catch position and then you're just kind of moving your arm through the motion. We want to accelerate as we get through that stroke. So let's grab our cords. We're going to start as we've been starting every week, 3 by 30 on the stretch cords with our core in between each. 3 by 30 seconds. So let's grab our stretch cords. These are going to be nice and easy. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start in that Y position. We don't want to be too close. Remember, if we're too close and we rotate, that's where we're going to get that crossover. If we're too close and we rotate, we get a crossover. So we're starting a Y, the letter Y position. We're going to be hinged at the hips, flat back. And then we want to externally rotate our elbow into the setup. And then we want to drive the hands through, flat palm as we complete the stroke behind us. So Y position, set up, externally rotate the elbow and drive through. 30 seconds, 2, 1. Nice and easy. I want you to think about the movement every time you move through the stroke. And bring those shoulders down. Don't extend from the traps. I don't want any trap issues or upper back, upper neck issues, lower neck issues, upper neck issues, because you're extending from that area. The upper back that's engaged. 3, 2, 1. Good. We're just going to go 45 seconds on our back with a flutter kick just to warm it up. So be on your back, hands under your butt. And you're going to point your toes away from you as if you're kicking. Knees are locked out, and you're going to kick from the glutes, the core, the hips. You're not bending your knees as if you're running. That's the way a lot of you guys kick in the pool, and all that is creating drag. So 45 seconds, flutter kick. 2, 1, let's go. Good pace, doesn't have to be too fast. Your head is 6 to 8 inches off the ground, looking straight up. And don't bend those knees. Point the toes away from you, just as if you're kicking. Any knee bend is drag, like you're carrying around the parachute. You always want to think about locking those knees out as you kick. And in doing so, you'll get just the right amount of bend in that knee. But you'll be whipping those legs from the hip if you're doing it right. 3, 2, 1. On your feet, and go back to 30 seconds. Nice and easy on the cords. Everybody drop your shoulders down, relax your traps. Let's hinge at the hips. And let's remember, externally rotate your elbows into that fingertip down, diamond position. If you look at me from the front, I'm in a diamond with my hands. And then you drive the hands back. 30 seconds, nice and easy. 2, 1, let's go. Start with that nice wide Y at the start of your stroke, and you're extended from that upper back. Really focus on that wrist staying firm and moving those elbows, rotating those elbows out. Don't focus on the hand. Don't focus on driving the paddles from the wrist. Focus on getting that elbow out, which allows you to drive the paddles from the lats. This is nice and easy, 60%, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right, so you're gonna be in the same position. We're gonna do leg lifts this one. So you're gonna hands under your butt, head 6 to 8 inches off the ground, knees locked out, toes pointed, and you're just gonna lift your legs up to 90 degrees, then back down, controlled. 45 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's control it. Doesn't have to be fast. It's all about control, just warming it up. Press your lower back into the ground. Don't let your lower back sway off the ground. You're looking straight up. You just need to come up to 90 degrees, nothing past that. But reach those toes away from you. Let's lengthen that core as you bring those legs down. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. One more round on the cords. 30 seconds easy, setting the tone, doing it right every single stroke. All right, here we go. Let's start in that Y position. You're hinged at the hips. 3, 2, 1. Bring those shoulders down. Move that scapula down the spine as you drive those hands back. You should be feeling in your lats, guys. Feel it out. Make sure you're feeling in the right place, the correct spot. Feeling it anywhere but the lats, we've got to make some adjustments to your stroke. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, behind your back again, let's flutter kick. Really reach those toes away from you. Reach them way away. You can even slightly point them in a little bit so the big toes brush against each other. Here we go, 45 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Keep those knees locked out. Increase your kick speed slightly in 3, 2, 1. A little faster kick speed. Kicking from the hips, kicking from the glutes, lower back's on the ground. Don't let that lower back arch up. Let's increase your kick speed one more time. 2, 1, a little faster. Come on. Keep the knees locked out. Don't bend your knees, guys. Point your toes. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, get a drink. Nice work, guys. So important we protect those traps. Last season, we had some trap issues swimming on cords workouts because you're just letting those cords pull you forward, forcing you to engage those traps. We have to make sure we consciously keep those shoulders back and that upper back braced and engaged so the upper back and lats can drive you. All right, guys, one arm, just grab your cords. Go one arm, left arm for 45 seconds, switch it off, right arm for 45 seconds. That opposite arm that's not working is gonna be straight out. You're not gonna let the momentum of the pull bring that lead arm over, which is totally common and what I'm seeing in the pool constantly. Momentum of this lead arm is pulling, and it's bringing the momentum of the pulling arm is pulling that lead arm over across the center line. You wanna keep it nice and wide and stable as if you're grabbing onto something in front of you, not moving the slightest bit. So let's pay attention to that lead arm. Don't let it move as you stroke with the opposite arm. So left arm only, 45 seconds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. 60% effort again, nice and easy. Watch that left elbow externally rotate as you set up that hand to face behind you. Don't even think about the hand. Don't think about the wrist. Just think about the elbow rotating out, pointing to the side, getting that hand to face behind you, and then you apply pressure to the cord. Your eyes are straight down as if you're looking at the bottom of the pool. You're not tilting, tucking, or lifting that head. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Right arm. Left arm is straight out, nice and stable. Think about that right elbow. Don't think about the hand. Don't think about the wrist. You're just focused on that right elbow. We don't want to apply any pressure until we get that hand facing behind us. If we start to apply pressure before that, we're going to drive our bodies up, which is not the direction we want to go. We want to go forward. 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, we're going to be in push-up position. We're going to do hand walkouts. So the key to this, we'll walk our hands out 4 steps out, 4 steps back, and we're just going to repeat that. But as we walk out, we're going to keep those hips extremely stable, and we'll keep them tucked under your body. So we don't want to let that butt protrude out. So the first thing we're going to do when we get set up, you get in your position, you're going to curl those hips under you, right? You're not going to let that sway in the lower back. Curl them under, and then from that position, you walk out 3 to 4 steps with your hands, and then you walk back in. Keeping the hips extremely stable. Just like when you swim, you have to keep those hips stable, which connect that upper and lower body so you can move as one unit. If your hips aren't stable as you swim, your upper body moves separate to your lower body and you get that twisting. So let's get in your push-up position. We got 45-second hand walkouts. If you need a little help, widen your legs out a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Curl your hips under. Once you do, take 3 to 4 steps out with your hands and then step them back into the starting position and just repeat that movement. Always conscious of those hips. Be nice and stable. Tuck your belly button in. And don't worry about speed. It's all about control. Ten seconds. Keep those hips tucked under, guys. 5, 2, 1. Good. All right, grab your cords. That's going to increase our velocity slightly on this next one arm. So we're at 60% on the last one. We're going to up it a little bit to 70%. So the left arm only, let's make sure. Keep that wrist firm, guys. And if I want you to be totally in tune with what you're doing. So I say this stuff 1,000 times. If you're not consciously moving through the stroke and you're just saying, not paying attention to what I'm saying, and you're just moving through the stroke, dropping your elbow, breaking your wrist, you're not doing anything for yourself except for reinforcing bad habits and working the wrong muscle. So slow it down if you need to and do it right. So let's go left arm only, 70%. Eyes are straight down at the ground. Extend those hands in the Y position. Keep that right arm stable. 2, 1. Left arm only. A little more velocity. So as you get that elbow pointed out, fingertips down, I want you to accelerate through the stroke. Not all that hard, just a little increased effort over the last round. But think about finishing the stroke fast with that flat palm. Accelerate through the stroke. Drop, pull your shoulders down. You're not reaching from that trap. You're letting that, you're keeping that lead arm, that right arm, pointed out in that half of a Y position. Don't break your wrist. Think about that elbow. Don't think about the wrist. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Right arm only. Same thing. Left arm is in that half of a Y position. Elbows out, and then you're accelerating through that stroke to that flat palm facing behind you. Tricep extension at the end of your stroke. That elbow pointed to the wall, and then you're in that half diamond position, pulling through where the hand stays under the shoulder. 3, 2, 1. Good. Back to our hand walkouts. Take it nice and slow. Make sure you start with those hips curled under and you keep that sway out of your lower back the whole time. If you're having a tough time with these, take only a couple small walkouts with your hands and then back. You don't have to go real far. 45 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Like I said, widen those legs. Spread those legs a little further if you need a little more of a base. Your eyes are pointed straight down. Really pay attention to the movement in that hips. Make sure there's no side-to-side movement as you walk those hands out. 5 seconds. 2, 1. Good. One more round of one arm. Left arm to start. We're going to up our effort slightly again, 80%. So it's lower end aerobic. So a little more speed, a little more power, a little more acceleration through your stroke on each one of these. Here we go. 45 seconds with your left arm to start. 3, 2, 1. Now with more power, that right arm wants to move a little more. No different than when you're in the pool. More velocity you add to your stroke, the more velocity you add to those arms, the more chaos happens with the non-moving parts. Bring those shoulders down. You're not reaching from the trap. You're reaching from the upper back, letting the trap relax. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Right arm only. Reaching from that upper back. Externally rotate that elbow. Which get those fingertips down, and then you accelerate through that stroke, 80% effort. And if you're reaching from that upper back, and you're externally rotating that elbow, you should feel this big open armpit as you get into that setup position. Just automatically gets you there if you're doing it right. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Like I was saying, guys, check it out. So my traps are relaxed, my upper back's engaged. I'm extended out in the Y position. I externally rotate my elbow, And because of that, I'm reaching, you see this big area of open armpit where we're scooping all this water in this area. As we do, then we drive through and push all that water back. So if you're dropping your elbow, breaking your wrist, you have nothing in this area to pull back. You're not getting any purchase on that water. So you're going to reach from the upper back in that Y position, externally rotate your elbows. Notice how that armpit opens automatically by doing that. And then all of this whole paddle here pushes that water back. And that's what we want. The more water we can grab, the more we can push back with more velocity, the faster you're going to go. So get a drink. Oh, sorry, we got some core work. Got another 45 seconds of walkouts. My bad. 45 seconds, hand walkouts. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Curl those hips under, stabilize that core. Suck your belly button, your spine. As that core starts to fatigue, it's going to want to cheat. Slow it down. Three, 2, 1. Good. All right, now I'll get a drink. All right, so we're going to go 45 seconds. 3 by 45 seconds. And we're going to be at around 80% effort, kind of where we ended the last one. But I want to focus on as you scoop all that water and set up, we accelerate through that stroke. So you feel yourself get faster as you come through. Then you finish off with that extension, engaging that trap as you press all that water back. So we always recommend the yellow cords just to start out. But if you're having a tough time going from this position all the way through this position, we might want to back down and get the silver cords as opposed to the yellow cords. I'd rather you guys do it right and back down the resistance than try and push too hard on something you're not ready for, because that just leads to compensation and injury. So for now, it'll work, but just be in tune with if you can get through that entire stroke correctly. And if you can't, we got to back down the resistance of the cords. So 45 seconds, 80% effort. We're going to keep everything perfect, but I want you to think about accelerating through that stroke, every single stroke. Starting in your Y position, you're hinged at the hips, 45 seconds in 3, 2, 1. So keep it all together, get those externally rotated elbows out to the side. You're reaching from that upper back. Feel yourself scoop all that water. And you grab that water and you throw it back. Getting those hands and those arms through the stroke explosively. Find that we're just too easy on the water once we start to go fast. Ten seconds. Three, two, one. Good. And we are back. We're gonna do some dead bugs. You start hands and feet in the air, point your toes, opposite arm, opposite leg to the ground, while the opposite arm, opposite leg stays straight up. Dead bugs. All right, 45 seconds. Keep that lower back pressed into the ground. Do it slow and controlled. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Point your toe. You're looking straight up. And try and keep that opposite arm, opposite leg that's straight up, nice and stable. Head is 6 to 8 inches off the ground. Lower back is pressed into the ground. Same thing, guys. Don't let the traps turn on as you move that arm up and down. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. You have a tough time doing that one, you can bend your knees. Do it from a bent knee position. I can demonstrate that on the next one. All right, back to 45 seconds at 80%. Remember, another thing we want to make sure we're doing is starting from that extension position as if we're in the water. Now, a lot of times when I say externally rotate the elbow, a lot of you guys try to get your elbow way too high. We don't need to have that high of an elbow. All we're concerned about is keeping the elbow over the wrist at all times. So it's all dependent on your personal flexibility ability. Some of us can get that elbow higher, but some of us have to be way down here in order to get the elbow up. But either way is fine, as long as the elbow stays above the wrist. So when I say extension, some people will be extended here, some will be extended here, some will be extended here. As long as you're extending out and you can get that elbow up to stay above the wrist, that's fine. But it's all dependent on your personal flexibility. We got to start in that extension position. 45 seconds. 80%, accelerate through the stroke. 3, 2, 1. So starting that extension position. Bring that scapula down your spine. You're not extending from the traps. Scoop up that water as you externally rotate that elbow. Fingertips should point down when you do that. Then drive those hands through the stroke to that fast, explosive finish. Just like a speedboat throws its water behind. That's what you want to do. You're a speedboat. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, so on this one, if you're having a tough time keeping the legs straight, you can bend your knees and do it from the knee bend position. If you want a little more of a challenge like we did last round, keep your legs straight, point your toes, and do it from that position. No matter what, you got to keep that lower back on the ground. Hips curled under you. Here we go, 45 seconds. Let's go in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Eyes are pointed straight up. Point your toes away from you, just as if you're swimming. Work on that ankle flexibility by pointing those toes. And really reach the fingertips away from you as the toes reach away from you. Elongate, toe to toe, toe to tip. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. 45 seconds, 80% accelerating through the stroke. All right, here we go. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Feel that big scoop of water. Coach Megan calls it the Hulk position because you're reaching out with both arms, getting in that Hulk pose, externally rotating those elbows, fingertips down, wrists firm, driving that water back fast and explosively. Got to start in that extension position, extending from that upper back. Finish with the flat hand facing away from you. Never let those lead arm come in from that Y position as you extend those fingertips away from you. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. One more round of dead bugs. All right, here we go. 45-second dead bugs. 3, 2, 1. Make sure that lower back doesn't arch off the floor, guys. Always want to protect your spine. Reach the fingertip away. Reach the toe away from you. Promoting that nice long body. Keep it controlled. Don't speed it up as you fatigue. 3, 2, 1. All right, get a drink. Work, guys. All right, we're gonna do a couple 90-second efforts. So we're gonna build every 30 seconds, starting at 60%, 60%, 70%, 80%. Setting the tone in the first 30 seconds with perfect execution. So as we up that effort, that execution stays perfectly dialed in. So let's grab our cords. Just everybody, I want everybody to shrug up, engage those traps, and then relax them. Shrug up and relax them. Remember that relaxed feel, because that's what we want to feel this entire 90 seconds in those traps. As soon as you start to feel yourself shrug, recognize it and relax. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. 60 seconds, nice and easy. We're nice and slow. We want to be able to climb the ladder as we go here, which can't happen if we take it out too fast. Slowly and deliberately through every stroke, reaching from that upper back, starting that Y position. Externally rotate your elbows. Wrists are firm. Let's increase our effort slightly in 2, one. Little more velocity as you move water front to back. Keep the elbow up. Don't let it drop for one stroke. I want to keep those prime movers engaged. Remember, joint position dictates muscle function. The elbows are up. Your lats are engaged. 2, 1, 80%. Keep the stroke perfect. The elbows are down, the lats aren't engaged. You're losing power. Keep those elbows up, just as if you were pressing yourself out of the pool doing a deck up. Your elbows stay up. Same thing here. Move that water quick, front to back, finishing explosively. 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna do a side plank to side plank exercise. So we're gonna start in a side plank. Should I do this? Side plank. Feet stacked if you want a little more of a challenge, or you can move your left foot in front of your right foot if you need a little more stability. And at your own speed, you're gonna go to your plank position and then move over to the other side. Pause for a second, plank, other side. Pause. All right, so we're gonna go right side plank, front plank, left side plank. You're gonna stay controlled the whole time. Nice and smooth. So you're only spending a second at each position. 45 seconds, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Keep those hips up. Don't let those hips sag. Suck that belly button in. This is the engagement you need as you rotate in the water. Pause for a second in each position. Don't go too fast. Keep that core engaged. 5 seconds. 2, 1. Good. All right, 90 seconds on the cords again. All right, remember, we're increasing every 30, guys. So because you're executing correctly, 90 seconds seems like it's a long time, but once you start super easy, it should be totally doable because you're dosing out the efforts correctly. So here we go, 5 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Keep that back flat. Extend those fingertips away from you from that upper back. We're at a 60% effort right now. And although it's easy, you're still feeling yourself accelerate through that stroke from front to back, finishing with that explosive flat palm. We're increase our velocity to 70% in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Relax those traps, guys. Bring those shoulders down. Externally rotate those elbows. Open that armpit. Grab that water and throw it back. 80% in 3, 2, 1. More velocity, guys. Still starting with that extension. Don't shorten your stroke just because I want you guys to go a little faster. You're just adding more power to the propulsion phase. You're not just moving faster like you're a cat scratching a pad. You have a nice, full, powerful stroke, explosively moving that water. 3, 2, 1. Good. Side to side plank for 45 seconds. All right, here we go. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Make sure you pause in the middle at that front plank for 1 second. Don't just roll right through it. Want a deliberate action moving side to side. Keep those hips up, keep those hips curled under you as you execute this. Make sure you breathe. Ten seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Good, get a drink. One more set to go. We're gonna do 2 by 60 seconds on the cords. Get faster every 20 seconds. We're gonna start at 70% effort. So we're finishing a little faster. So we're starting at 70, then we're moving up to 80 at that lower aerobic range. And move up to 90, that's higher end aerobic range. So like I said, as we increase speed, it doesn't become this. As we increase speed, it's just more power as you power through. That's where we're getting the speed from. And in doing so, that cadence increases because you're moving that water faster. The cadence doesn't increase because you're moving your arms faster. It increases because you're moving your power under the water faster. Something you have to wrap your head around, guys. Unlike in running, the faster you move your legs, the faster you go. Not so in swimming. The more water you move in swimming, the faster you go. So here we go. Every 20 seconds, we're going to increase effort, starting at 70%. The entire way you keep that technique perfect. Here we go. 2, 1, 70%. Externally rotate the elbows, then you put the power into the paddles, not before that. You never want to put downward pressure on the water. That pops your body up. 2, 1, 80%. So you're just moving that water front to back with a little more velocity. Accelerate through that stroke. Finish with that flat hand, but you're always coming to that extension at the front in that Y position. 2, 1, 90%. Really drive that water back. Come on. Eyes are pointed straight down, good neutral spine. 10 seconds. You feel that big open armpit as you set up those hands. 2, 1, good. And on your back, we're gonna do 30 seconds of bicycle crunches. Once again, keep your lower back pressed into the ground. And point those toes as you move elbow to knee. Nice and controlled, it's not about speed. 30 seconds of bicycle crunches in 2, 1. You're not yanking on your neck. Just lightly grab your ears and let the core do the rotation for you. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. On your feet. Grab your cords, one more round. 60 seconds. All right, everybody shrug up again and relax. Shrug up and relax. Don't let your traps turn on. Now that you're fatigued, your lats are really tired, that's where the traps want to turn on. Same thing in the swim. You're 1,000 into half Ironman, all of a sudden you start swimming like this because you're getting fatigued. Remind yourself, relax your shoulders, keep that upper back engaged, keep the traps turned off. Here we go, 60 seconds, starting at 70%. In 3, 2, 1. Eyes are pointing straight down. No tilting, tucking, or lifting that head. Reach out with that upper back. As you get into the setup position, point those elbows to the side. 2, 1, 70%. A little more velocity as you move water front to back. Really feel that flat hand. Press that water back. Visualize it. 2, 1, 90%, guys. Come on. Elbows up. Make sure you're breathing. 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Good. On your back. One more round of bicycle crunches. The 30 seconds. Everybody down. Let's go. So let's curl your hips under. Make sure that lower back is flat in the ground. There's no arch. Let's go. 30 seconds. In 2, 1. Point your toes. Make sure you're not yanking on your neck. There's a nice light touch of your ears. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, guys, good work. Let's do some mobility stuff, and then we're done. Let's just face forward, relax your shoulders. Standing cat-cow, so we're going to hunch our shoulders over, bring it forward, open them up, bring it back, pinch that scapula together. Good neutral spine. So as if you're in your all 4 cat-cow, we're just doing it as a standing. So open that chest up. And as you cave that chest in, open that back up. Big breath. In and out. Breath in as you bring those shoulders back. Breath out as you bring those shoulders in. Feel that movement in the upper back. Feel that movement in the chest. Feel that movement in the shoulders. Let's do 2 more. Good, shake it out. All right, do those angels. If you have access to a wall, you can do it on a wall. You want to curl your hips under, bring those shoulders back, pinch your shoulder blades together. As you come up, you keep the shoulder blades pinched together. If you're on a wall, you keep your elbows and knuckles on the wall along with your lower back. If you're not on a wall, picture yourself against the wall, and you only come up to where you feel that stretch. And then you slowly bring it back down and pull those arms down with that upper back. So it's a slow motion. And you just bring it up to where you feel the stretch, keeping the shoulder blades pinched together. And then you come back down all the time, keeping those hips curled under you, keeping those elbows and knuckles back. and you should feel that upper back pulling those hands up and down. All movement is coming from the upper back. Don't skip this mobility stuff, guys. I see people just walking around skipping this mobility stuff. Do it. So many of us walk around with no mobility in that upper back, which is what we're working on here because of what we do all day, sitting at a computer, sitting at a desk, looking at our phones. Let's do 2 more. Come on, guys. Good. Upper crossed syndrome, that's what they call it. When you're looking at your phone all day and you're in this position, then you walk around in that same position. Chest is turned off, upper back is tight from being turned on all the time. We need to work that mobility in. If you want to look up more on it, it's called upper crossed syndrome. So we're going to our bird dogs with the opener. We're going to lift up your opposite arm, opposite leg. And as you come back to the starting position, you're just going to open up that arm. Your eyes stay straight down at the ground the whole time. So opposite arm, opposite leg. And as you come to the start position, bring that hand around, pinky comes towards your feet. Keep that toe pointed away from you as you open up. As you lift up that leg from the glute. So you should feel that glute engage as you lift up and point that toe away from you. But then feel that chest open, feel that scapula move, that shoulder blade move as you bring that arm and that hand back to the start position. Do 1 more on each side. Good. We're just going to do some down dog to push up position to finish off. So you're going to press up through the hands, press those heels down, extend that lower back as you reach those hips away from you. Hold there for a second or 2 and come into the push-up position. Hold there for a second or 2. Keep those hips curled under and then go right back to the downward dog. Reach those hips away, elongate that spine, drop that head in the down dog position. Feel that whole posterior chain elongate as you reach those hips away from you. Press your hands into the ground. Let's do 1 more of these. All right, good. So that mobility stuff is stuff you can work in throughout the day if you want to do another time later today. The cat cows, the angels, the openers, and the downward dog to push-up position. They're good stuff to get some movement in that upper back and get yourself out of that upper crossed syndrome position. So amazing work, guys. Make sure you feel the body. If you're feeling it in the wrong spots, if you're feeling it in the shoulders, if you're feeling it in the traps, there's some adjustments we have to make with your stroke. You should be really feeling a good pump in those lats because you put them to good work here today, guys. So amazing job. We'll see you guys next Monday, as we're here every Monday, 6 a.m. Pacific time. Otherwise, you can find it on the Tower 26 YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jim.